Hey everybody, welcome to Behavior Bites. I am Brad.
And I'm Mike, and we're also joined by our producer Aaron, who's behind the camera.
Hello.
Okay, you guys, this is part 3 of our 4-part series on taking breaks at school. Take it, Mike.
Well, one of the reasons that we decided to do it in this format and break it out into parts is to make sure that we're being purposeful with our breaks. Last time we talked about rewards breaks, which are earned. A kid does something to get this break.
Yep.
We're going to start a couple different types of breaks now. Today we're talking about movement breaks.
Right.
The next one will be about coping breaks, and both of those are to meet the needs of a kid so they can be successful in school.
Absolutely. Today, like Mike said, we're doing movement breaks, and that's just what it sounds like. Get the kids moving, right? We want to engage those gross motor activities, yeah?
Yeah. And why does this work? Hey, it burns off excess energy, which can impede a student's learning.
Yeah, look, we all know that kid that's got like the real bad case of the wiggles, right? And they cannot control what's going on with their body at that time and in that moment. So if we don't help them get themselves squared away, then they're probably going to interrupt the learning of themselves and probably everybody around them as well.
Yeah, I agree, and I've seen it. We've all seen that as educators. So we have some guidelines that Brad and I talked about that can help this really work well when we're using movement breaks. The first one is that you want to consider, is this a scheduled break or is this an impromptu break? Some kids are so predictable and so consistent, and we can see that, at let's say 10 o'clock, they really need a movement break.
Yep.
And at 1 o'clock, they really need a movement break. Some kids are not as consistent and it's a bit more impromptu. Like they need it now, and then we go ahead and provide that, but it's not necessarily as consistent as others. And honestly, these breaks work really, really well with both styles.
Oh, yeah. Listen, be mindful of the time that you spend, but you don't have to have like a hard stop like with the reward breaks. If you want to be a little bit loosey-goosey, give the kids what they need, know your kids, right? But you want to make sure you have a designated space. Don't try to do this in the classroom. You want to do it hallway, gym, outside, resource room, somewhere like that. Don't try to do this in the classroom because it's just going to disrupt your class even more than it would have otherwise, right?
Yeah. And I find that these are most successful and most useful when they're structured. We have to put some sort of kind of rules and routines behind it, not necessarily free play. This isn't a free play time.
It is not. Like I said in the last video, you want to make sure that you're touching base with the student before they go back to class. They just got done doing a whole bunch of active movement. You want to make sure that they are brought down under control and they know the expectations once they go back into the classroom, yeah?
Yeah, let's run through a few examples. I really like laps because it's in a defined space, and we can just let them, hey, run 2 laps, come back, 1 more, and then we'll head back to class. I like that strategy a lot.
Yeah, a lot of my kids that have a lot of extra energy or just maybe some sensory needs, I have them do their laps with like a weighted backpack.
That's great.
Just kind of gets that deep pressure in there as well.
Yeah, and some other things we can add to our movement checklist might be jumping jacks or wall push-ups, arm circles. Those things are great.
Yeah. All right, guys. Make sure that you guys check out our other videos. Like we said before, we already did one on rewards breaks. We're going to be putting one out on coping breaks, okay? In the meantime, go forth, do good things.